After months of relative silence, Bethesda has finally given us a look at the next major update on its way to Fallout 76, and let me tell you, this is an exciting one. It seems like they are finally listening to some of the feedback and implementing one of my personal most requested features for the game. But beyond that, it does seem to imply that some changes are coming around Fallout 76, and things may not be exactly the same as they used to be. But don't worry, because there is still a bright side, and that's today's video sponsor, the Ridge wallet. Big wallets are a big problem. Do you enjoy sitting on this monstrosity? But Ridge fixes that with slim and compact wallets, and don't worry, it still has all the space you need. It'll be able to hold up to 12 cards and cash if you still use that. But thankfully, at least for me, Ridge didn't stop there, as they're also saving your front pockets with the key case. Jeep keys are obnoxiously large for some reason, but the key case keeps everything nice and compact, saving me some desperately needed pocket space. And if you are feeling a bit more fun, some of the Ridge designs for both the wallet and key case are pretty awesome and incredibly high quality. But it does actually get even a bit better. Since you watched this video, you're in luck. You can go to ridge.com/JuiceHead or just use code JuiceHead for 10% off right now. And hey, if you somehow still need more convincing, Ridge wallets even have a lifetime warranty. But looking back at Fallout 76, several new announcements were made earlier today with the latest Inside the Vault article. The first one being that Fallout 76 is getting a new update this Tuesday on April 18th. And although the game has desperately needed some new content, this isn't really going to be that, as this update is described as focusing on minor bug fixes and performance optimizations rather than bringing new content into the game. Thankfully, that isn't the big news here, as they also revealed an entirely new update focused on the Blue Ridge Caravan and cryptids. This new update is named Once in a Blue Moon, described as bringing 2 new cryptids, new public events, new side quests, rewards, a daily ops mutation, and more. And although they do share some details on all of this, we're going to be finding out all of the details on it very soon. As although the update is slated to be coming out at some point this summer, with no exact date being given, this update is going into public testing on the public test server in just a week on April 20th. There's definitely a joke in there somewhere, I'm just not smart enough to actually think of it. But basically, I'll make a video showing you everything that's going to be added with this update in about a week, so hey, get subscribed to see that. Firstly, this update will be focused around the Blue Ridge Caravan. This was a new faction implemented with the Wastelanders update for Fallout 76. And in effect, they really are just kind of a caravan company, transporting supplies around the wasteland. And although this faction does have one event in-game right now, they're actually getting quite a bit more with this coming update. And, you know, if you want a Blue Ridge for yourself, you can also get that, link in the description. The current in-game location of the Middle Mountain Cabins, which is really just some campsite that's largely abandoned and now taken over by some creatures. Well, this location is going to be getting overhauled and taken over by the Blue Ridge Caravan Company this summer. And it's actually going to be home to one of the new events with Safe and Sound. A speaker repelling hostile creatures has been damaged, so we'll have to clear out those creatures and repair the speaker and then defend it against waves of incoming enemies. It sounds pretty similar to most other events in game, and it's basically from a lore perspective going to be a new caravan launching site for Blue Ridge. Although I do actually like that Bethesda is finally giving us some event content around a faction base, even if it's a minor one. A lot of times what we'll have is a new faction base added, but then an event somewhere that is completely unrelated, somewhere else on the map, but now we're kind of getting both of those in one, which is nice. Although another new faction that's getting some attention here are the Mothman Cultists. There's going to be yet another new event known as the Beasts of Burden. Cultists have stolen some Brahmin from Blue Ridge, and on board those Brahmin were some explosives, so we're going to have to get them back. But it seems like during this other new event, it could be where we experience one or more of the new cryptids, as it's also described how the cultists have noticed some strange activity in the woods nearby. And this is at least probably a new event. From the wording, it definitely could be a one-off quest or a new repeatable event, but I'm pretty sure it's an event. And the new cryptid that's likely to be associated with this one involving the cultists is the Blue Devil, which is basically going to be a werewolf in Fallout 76. There's not too many details shared on this cryptid. We have this one image from the actual post itself and another one that was shared on Twitter by one of the community managers, but the Blue Devil is actually based off of real West Virginian lore. The Blue Devil was spotted in West Virginia between 1939 and 1940. It was described by West Virginian residents as a bluish dog-like creature that was larger than a pony and prowled the area late at night, emitting a ghostly howl. At the time, this thing wreaked havoc on the local livestock, and a reward for its death was posted at $400, which adjusting for inflation would be worth over $8,500 today. And although it definitely seems like this is what the cultists were seeing in the forest for the Beasts of Burden event, there is another cryptid coming with the Agua. I'm definitely butchering that naming, right? The Agua will appear in the Cranberry Bog and almost have a dinosaur-like appearance. The picture makes it look small, but it was described as around Mega Sloth in size, so this thing is going to be fairly massive. This too is of course based off a real-life cryptid in West Virginia described as a 500-pound snapping turtle. It was first seen in the mid-1700s as it pulled a boy underwater, never to be seen again. But this thing is known to crush deer in just one bite, and it is believed to be a surviving prehistoric turtle. And as far as I can tell, this may be just a new random encounter or enemy spawn in a certain area. Again, it sounds like it's going to be in the Cranberry Bog region of Appalachia. So it almost sounds like the Blue Devil will pop up during an event, almost like the Sheep Squatch, while the Agua will just be a new random encounter that you can stumble upon from time to time. Although I found the design of both of these cryptids to be pretty interesting, it seems like Bethesda almost went for a tamer approach compared to some of the other cryptids we have in Fallout 76 that are definitely a bit more out there. Here, we're really just getting a werewolf and a big turtle, two things that most people are probably familiar with from other video games or media. And a fun note, these were actually both teased on the scoreboard for Fallout 76 already. If you're paying attention, the evidence was right in front of us. With that said, that still isn't going to be everything, as there's also going to be some new daily quests implemented with this update. One of the managers at the Blue Ridge Caravan Company is going to hire us to improve the performance of his employees, other people working at the Caravan Company. And during these daily quests, we're going to discover why the Caravanier's boots are stuck in the mud. So perhaps these daily quests will actually loop in with a larger cryptid storyline, as maybe they are actually getting their roots affected by cryptids in the locations. But this is actually pretty interesting, as these are going to be unique daily quests in that you can actually only do each quest once. So it basically seems like it's going to be almost like a typical quest, but they're going to be time gated. So on day 1, you're able to do the first quest, but then you're going to have to wait 24 hours and come back on day 2 to do the next quest, and so on. There's going to be 7 quests in total, but they're not repeatable. You just have to spend 7 days in Fallout 76. It's almost like an incentive to get you to log in. But each one will give you some unique Blue Ridge theme rewards, including camp items and outfits. And once you complete all 7 quests, there's going to be a special side quest tied to something from Fallout 76's history, and it seems to be titled Unmasking the Myth, so it's likely tied to revealing another character in Fallout 76, but we'll find out more as we can actually play this all. Overall, I found myself to be really excited for this update. It doesn't necessarily seem like it'll be some massive game-changing update, nothing like Wastelanders, but there's a solid amount of content here, and most importantly, this seems like it'll be an update that is genuinely fun and hits on multiple fronts. New cryptids are something I've been asking for with Fallout 76 for a very long time. I mean, basically since release. The Sheep Squatch was an amazing addition. I'm shocked it took this long for us to get more cryptids in the game. But thankfully that is finally changing, hopefully with some expanded cryptid lore as well that we'll hopefully get during these quests. But even further, I feel like Bethesda is finally taking advantage of that ideal quest to event dynamic. This update will not only have some new quest content and story-based interactions, at least somewhat, but also new repeatable events for us to experience and complete. In almost every previous update we've had for Fallout 76, these two things were surprisingly disconnected. You'd have quest content come out first, and then several months or even years later, you would have event content themed around those same quests, but again, they were super spread apart. Despite the fact that these two things actually synergize really well. Do some quest, then a new event pops up, you do that, then perhaps return to the questing or some of the other new things added in. And if you remember, they even mentioned there'll be some new daily ops changes. There's no details shared, but they did mention a new daily ops mutation, and it's nice to finally see an update really hit the game on all fronts. We're going to have new events, we're going to have some daily ops content, and some new quests with custom rewards to really immerse yourself in it all. The aspect where you have to do only one quest per day is definitely going to be a bit frustrating for some people, but for me, I prefer this method of delivery over some extended grind that we've basically seen with every other update. I also do wonder how much story content will actually be here. Is it just going to be a bunch of fetch quests, or will we actually be interacting with these characters, getting some lore? Either way, as I mentioned, I'm pretty excited for this one. A big reason for that is I'm happy we're actually getting more content that expands the lore of West Virginia. For a lot of updates, it feels like Bethesda has just been relying on those established and familiar factions. But now they're actually going back to what makes this game a bit more unique compared to the other Fallout entries. And just from a fun and intrigue factor alone, that definitely gets me pretty hyped, but of course it isn't all positive. It seems like this is going to be the big summer update for the game, and the fact that we just got this revealed in a one-off Inside the Vault article definitely makes me think that there is no roadmap coming to Fallout 76 in 2023. I mean, at this point, we're almost 30% done with the year. Even if we got a roadmap at this point, it's not like it'd be revealing that that much more. We know the next big update and what that's going to be because, yeah, that's this. So if we got a roadmap now, it would really only be covering the latter half of the year, and it feels like that'd be weird. It feels like if a roadmap was coming, it would have come out already. And the fact that this new big update doesn't have a concrete release date, but is coming out over the summer, definitely makes it seem like there isn't going to be a whole lot going on with Fallout 76 between now and then. The only thing we've really seen added to the game thus far in 2023 were mutated events. That being the same old events, but now with a slight twist as enemies have a new effect on them. And the only other thing that has been tested on the PTS thus far were double mutated events. So basically the same thing with just 2 effects on enemies now. So though this update definitely seems exciting, it may be a while before you have yet another excuse to play Fallout 76 again. But in the meantime, if you're looking for an excuse to play Fallout 4, you can check out this video detailing some of the best mods to come out for that game recently.